Okay, this is Discourse Analysis Part 2. She takes a list, she gets lost in the list, which I think is funny, but she says my pipette something, my pipette min, and so this is a list of things that she needs to continue on, so that's why it's important. She requires these things to continue with the process. The box, the deep box, so she further clarifies is, what? That's not a word. Oh my god, I'm sorry. She clarifies what the purpose of that is, and I think it must be at least somewhat important, considering the fact that she clarifies what it is. You don't want this to thaw out, so you need to do this step. Again, that sort of common structure that we've seen throughout the text. It's just this constant sort of list of things that she's doing. She's going to do this, and then she's going to pipette up and pipette down. I wish these weren't so hard for me to follow, but I just feel like there's so much information in this text that I get overwhelmed by it. But I guess maybe the thing that would be important from this is that this is the order of the way that you do things. And that's why it's important that it's listed, it's in that specific order. She uses an if-then structure, so if this is what happens, then this is what you need to do. So if you do that, then this will happen. She continues to talk about the then, and then we're going to use that to go into the next part of the text. She says negative 80-degree freezer. I mean, this has to be at least the fourth time she said that, and I don't really think it's that important to the text. I think it's important to know that it's very, very cold, but I do think it's interesting that she has repeated that over and over. Then she goes on to the next thing. This is what's going to happen after you've made sure that nothing has defrosted too much. The next thing you need to do is dispose of the biohazardous waste. And she sort of clarifies why that's important. But then we're going to go on into the next section. And we're going to go into the shaker room. That will be the next topic. She does discuss that for a while, so we're transitioning into that now. She describes the purpose of the shaker room, which I think she actually lists too. She says, my bugs will grow overnight, but then we're also talking about the small culture thing that we've been making throughout the text. So this is obviously an important part of the whole process. There's some steps. We need to turn it down, waiting until it stops. And then the next step, she says then, so now we're going to go into the final part of this process. you need to make sure to turn the shaker back on because other people are using it. So I think everything in this is theoretically really important to this field, so this step would be very important. I don't think the purpose of this is to teach anyone how to do this. I don't think that. But it is sort of an important thing that she's probably learned about safety. She's talking about what needs to happen and right before you leave, so we're about to find out what you need to do before you leave. And that is the end of the text. Sort of love how she's like laughing throughout this. I feel like she thinks this is just as crazy as I do to listen to. Okay, great, thanks.